So, welcome to day 2 of the Is It Your Gut Challenge. So, yesterday we talked about skin and looking at your skin and your eyes for any blemishes or wrinkles or discolorations to see if the issues that you have are coming from your gut. And today we're actually going to talk about the number one tool that you have that will tell you exactly what is going on inside your body. And that tool is your poo. Yeah, I know it's probably not the best topic to talk about, or not the cleanest topic to talk about, but it is the most important one to talk about in regard to your gut health, because that is a direct reflection of whether your gut is working efficiently, whether you're breaking down food, whether you're absorbing food, whether you're not absorbing food. And we're going to get through that in this video of some signs and things to look for to know exactly what is happening based on the bowel movements that you're having. So after working with clients over the last couple of months, last couple of years, basically I noticed one thing across the board. When they're sick or they're not feeling well, they're feeling ill, or they have some symptoms going on, more often than not, there's also some gut symptoms as well. Like there's also some bowel movement issues as well. So there's some fluctuation there. So ideally, we want to get to a number 4 on the Bristol stool chart. And with that, I've included a link right below this video. So you can look at the Bristol stool chart. But ideally, it goes through from a number 1 to a number 7. Ideally, you want to get a number 4. So when you go to the bathroom, it shouldn't take you minutes in there. It should only take you 1 to 2 minutes. It should be very easy to pass, so no cramping, no straining, none of that. Very easy to pass. It should come out in one piece, and it should be clean. It should require almost no wipes, so you shouldn't be using the whole roll of toilet paper. You should be using just a very little bit because it should come out nice and clean, one whole piece, like a smooth, long, brown snake. That is ideally what we want to go after. It doesn't need to smell like roses, but it shouldn't smell repulsive either. So when you see that, that's how you know that your digestive system is functioning 100%, when you hit a perfect number 4 on the Bristol stool chart. So now let's talk about some of the variations here. Some of the variations, depending on whether it's more constipated or more prone to diarrhea, are going to mean 2 different things. So based off of your bowel movements, we can tell whether you're dehydrated. We can tell if your body's absorbing fat properly. We can tell if possibly there's a GI infection, especially in the cases of loose stool and stuff like that. Usually that can be a sign of parasites. That can be a sign of fungus. Sometimes you may have bowel movements and there's white mucus over them, or fuzz or weird things in there. That can be a sign of GI infection. Also, if you're eating food and it's undigested, like if you see corn or red peppers or tomato or rice or grains or anything that you could identify in your bowel movement, that means you're having trouble absorbing that food. So something is not working right inside of your digestive system. And so we have to be able to fix that, because that's literally where you absorb your nutrients. That's where you absorb your vitamins, your minerals, your phytochemicals. That's where your hormones are produced. That's where all the magic happens inside your body. And we have to make sure that that system is functioning correctly and it's smooth in order for you to feel good, in order for you to have vibrant health. So you shouldn't go to the bathroom and feel worse after. You should actually feel very relieved. You shouldn't feel dirty or groggy. You shouldn't feel like it's not completely evacuated, like there's still some more in there. So these are all things to look for. So we know ideally we want to get a number 4 on the Bristol stool chart. One long brown snake, very easy to wipe, no smell, very easy to pass. 1, 2, 3, nice, quick, and you feel nice and clean and refreshed right after. Now, any deviation, if we look at from a 1 to a 3, that's considered more prone towards constipation. This means the food that you're eating is not passing through fast enough, which can be a problem, because when that's happening, the very toxins that are in that poo are now getting reabsorbed into your body. And now they're getting put back into your bloodstream. Your liver then has to refilter them, reprocess them. And over time, if constipation is severe, that can lead to bacteria backing up into the system. So ideally, we eat food, it then goes to the stomach, it then goes to the duodenum, and the gallbladder is actually releasing bile to start to break down some of that food. Then it goes into the small intestine, and then it goes into the large intestine, and eventually ends up coming out of the body. But if that system is backed up, it creates a traffic jam, and now the very bacteria that you have in your colon, that is what breaks down the food. If this starts to get backed up, those bacteria start moving further up the digestive system, and that's how you get things like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, meaning some of the bacteria that should only be in your colon is now in your small intestine. It's now moving up further. And those overgrowths of fungus and bad bacteria, they can cause a lot of issues. They can cause malabsorption. They can cause toxicity issues. So it's a very important thing to understand. So in your colon, ideally, you want very good bacteria. And when you have that, it digests food very efficiently, and you'll be able to tell when you look at your bowel movement. Now, if you see any deviation here, we know that something is up, and it definitely has to get fixed, especially if this is happening day in, day out. You definitely have an issue with your gut. So if it's a little hard to pass, it's dry, maybe it's coming out in pieces or pebbles, those are all signs of constipation. And that means things are not moving fast enough. So we want to be able to get that moving. And the great thing here is by readjusting your food intake, we can actually fix a lot of that issue. So constipation could be signs of dehydration. You're not getting enough fluids. Constipation could be another sign that the actual system is clogged up. Constipation can definitely be a sign that you have the wrong bacteria in there. You have an overgrowth of bad bacteria that's literally backing something up, and now your body's reabsorbing toxins. And then more often than not, they're probably going to end up coming out through your skin in the case of blemishes and rashes or itchiness, and we definitely don't want that. So if you're going less than 1 time a day, that is definitely constipation. And if you only go 1 time a day, if you're not having one perfect long brown snake, that is signs of constipation. That's signs that something's wrong with your gut. Now let's flip it on the other end. Now if you have from a number 5 to a number 7, that's more like loose type of stool. So number 5 is more like looser blobs, so like a broken type of snake, and then after that it gets a little worse where it's a little more liquidy. So if you're having any of those signs, that's signs of diarrhea. That can lead to electrolyte imbalance. That can be signs of bacterial overgrowth. That could be signs of parasite infection. That could be a sign that you have a food sensitivity or an allergy that's literally coming into the body and then trying to push it through real quick because your body's sensitive to it. So it could be many different signs. Also, if you see any grease in the toilet bowl, if you see oil in the toilet bowl, that's signs of fat indigestion. Your body's not processing fats efficiently. So if that's happening, that could also be if your stool's moving too fast, that can be a sign of enzyme deficiency. So maybe you're not having the adequate enzymes in there. And so this is really important because if we see any of those deviations, we know that the pH of the different organs in the body are off. So we have to be able to balance those out in order for our enzymes to function efficiently so we can break down the food. We also know that there's probably a disbalanced microbiome in there, which we have to actually get in there, balance out, and completely fix. So I want you to today, over the next 24 hours, start looking at your bowel movements, start looking at your poop, and I want you to record what they look like on the Bristol stool chart, so what number that is. Are they brown? If not, what color are they? If they're yellow, that could be signs that the liver's backed up. If they're reddish or black, that could be very serious. That could be signs of internal bleeding, or it could be signs of too much iron supplements, or it could be signs that maybe you're not digesting beets properly. So though that is what that could show. If it's more on the greener side, that can either be a sign that you're eating an abundance of vegetables, or it could be a sign that you're having a little bit of issues with bile flow. So these are all things to look at. If you see any mucus or fuzz or specks or things that look like worms or things moving, those are definitely signs of fungus, parasites, and other bacteria. So I want you over the next 24 hours, every time you go to the bathroom, let's see exactly what number on the Bristol stool chart, what color it was it easy to pass, how'd you feel after, were you fully evacuated, were you in a good mood after, were you in a bad mood after? These are all very important because we're going to use this at the end to form your own health plan. And with that, we are discussing a lot of information here, and I know it could be overwhelming, I know it could be confusing, and that's why I highly recommend that you get a very personalized plan, because there's no one set or one size thing fits all. So it's very important to have a personalized approach, or a way to go about personalizing this and fixing your gut correctly, so that way you can regain your health and you don't have to deal with your health issues. So with that, also below this video, you can set up a call with me, and we will have a health detective call, and we will sort of get to the root of what's going on with you, and then develop a custom plan or a personalized plan in order for you to be able to heal your health issues, in order for you to be able to regain your health. So if you want a personalized approach, a personalized plan, all you have to do is click the link below this video. You fill out a quick, short application, and we can then set up a phone call from there and discuss exactly where you are currently, what is going on, where you want to be, how you want to feel, and then designing custom roadmap for you to get there. That's what I have for you in this video. I'm Nick. Make sure to write down your bowel movements today and check them over the next 24 hours. That is your task for today. Set up a phone call if you have not already. Fill out the application, and I will see you tomorrow on video 3.